And now you can see the Backseat Mogul Show in all its video glory on our YouTube page at roughedge.tv.
Come to Harbor Cove Cafe, where the palm trees sway, where you'll find my ties and zombies you'll crave. Your hidden treasure at the end of Spinnaker. Tropical libations, feel the island vibrations. Taste the flavors that delight in our paradise every night. Sip on sunshine in your cup, life's a breeze, so drink it up. Harbor Cove Cafe, where the aloha stays. Your perfect getaway at the end of the bay.
Showbiz is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs for no good reason. There's also a bad side.
Had to do that. Good morning. This is the Backseat Mogul Show live here on Rough Edge FM. I am R. Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is the show where we talk about show business. Sitting to that side, none other than Johnny D. Johnny, good morning.
Good morning, Scotty B. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. And we got a special guest in the studio today. We have Jeff Genet,
hello,
filmmaker, coming in to talk to us about his new movie. First Run is the title, correct?
Yes.
And First Run is currently. Would you say you're in production? You're still in pre-production? I know you got shooting dates scheduled, so.
Yeah, we haven't started shooting yet. So we're still in pre-production, but next weekend.
Okay.
We start shooting.
Oh, very cool. So Johnny is actually going to be in the film, and he's in the first week of filming there. So.
Yep.
So anyway, tell us about First Run. Tell us about the story, and tell us where the concept came from, and just tell us whatever you'd like to about it.
Oh, all right.
I know I threw a lot at you, didn't I?
Yeah. I used to work at the movie theater, the Regency Buenaventura 6, for 5 years. 6 if you count the year I took a break and I worked at a movie theater down in San Diego. So knowing the Regency, there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens there. It was a second run movie theater for a long time, and $3 tickets, $1 tickets tends to bring in some crazy people.
$1 hot dogs.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was one of those crazy people.
You were, yes, I do remember both. Well,
get a picture, Mike.
I remember like both of you guys coming in. I remember you coming in for RoboCop, and then I had to tell you that it was Blu-ray, and yeah.
And the ratio was all off.
Yes.
Drove me nuts.
Yes.
Drove you nuts too, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then I think you asked if like it was rated, if it was the X version or if it was the other one. I was like, I don't know. It's just whatever was the Blu-ray.
I was asking too many questions.
Yeah.
Was it the original RoboCop? Or
there's only one.
Well, they did a remake.
There's only one.
Yeah.
True.
No, it was one of those flashbacks. And then
I missed those.
Yeah. And then you came in, you talked to me a bunch, and then I ended up getting you a poster for Man from U.N.C.L.E. So
one of his favorite movies.
Yeah.
And I have the complete box set of the TV series. Big Man from U.N.C.L.E. fan.
Yeah, I definitely remember that. So yeah, it's just there's so many crazy stories, and telling people about it and stuff. I after so many years, I kind of just started writing it down, and my friend wanted to make a film. He wanted to remake an old YouTube video that we did right out of high school, some horror film called Last Exorcism of Salvador, just some comedy horror thing. And I sat down to write it, and over the course of 2 weeks, I only got maybe the first 2 pages. And then I
Really?
was like, all right, let me try something different. Maybe it's the project, maybe it's me. And then, I started going through my notes and I saw a note that said, movie theater movie, all the crazy people or something like that. And then I started writing, and when the first day I wrote for 14 pages.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, I guess this is what I'm
This
doing.
is the one, right?
Yeah. So, then it just went from there. The next 7 months, I wrote out, a bunch of the whole script. And, it was just basically, I was trying to remember stories like, okay, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, put them together. And now how do we string a story through that?
And you did that nicely. I think that flows really well in the script there.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, how much of it is true and how much of it is made up? Give me a percentage.
Maybe 70% of it is true. Like every situation that they come across, actually at everything at the movie theater has happened to me in one way or another, or certain lines in the film has happened or have been said to me. The only thing that's like probably fake is they didn't get the hard drive. They got to go find it.
Yeah.
Like everything else is pretty much
from
almost verbatim. Like some of the stories, like I had to tone back a little bit because it's like, all right, this is too unbelievable. Let's tone it back. And then let's make it a little more realistic for the film, even though it's still kind of wacky.
Yeah.
But, yeah, most of that's actual stuff.
That's great. That's awesome. Now, as you know, I worked at the theater for 7 years. My last few years working for a theater was at the Regency.
Mm-hmm.
And excuse me, I quit because I got robbed. And then the second time I got robbed, and I told myself that the first time, if you get robbed once, no one gets shot, you get robbed again, quit and take while you're ahead. So I did. It was stupid because then I went to work for a drive-in the next day. Which was ridiculous. But anyway, you're right. The stories, I always tell people that if your kid is about 16 or 17 and they're looking for a job, the movie theater is the job. First of all, it teaches you everything you need to know about business. Every single aspect about business is at a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, the social aspect of it is amazing. I made more friends at the movie theater than I made in all my time at school.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way that it works,
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things, reading the script, that was the only thing I was worried about, was that our people who don't, Johnny fixed the script. People who don't know the theater, are they going to still understand the concepts? Are they still going to believe the people are real? And I talked to Josh about it, my son Josh, who was also at the movie theater and worked with you, did he? Or
yeah, he was my manager for a little bit. We went on some crazy night runs.
I'm sure he did, yeah. But I talked to him about it. He says, I think he thought they would. We talked it out, and I think he's right. I think everybody will get this.
Mm-hmm.
It's the kind of movie that I don't know where that came from, where the kind of script, I should say, because the movie's not done yet, obviously, but where people will read it and they'll get caught up in it, and knowing that so much of it is based on a true stories is just going to drive them along. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think it's just in general, like if you've worked a customer service job or something, or a job you've really enjoyed, and you met people you really enjoyed there, that you'll get it. Because it's the same way. Like everybody that I worked with at the movie theater, we would celebrate birthdays together, baby showers, like literally everything. We would even invite some customers to like our little barbecues and stuff.
You never invited me.
Well,
He said some customers for a reason.
Yeah. Not all customers. It was a very small demographic, but some of those people, I mean, after I quit in 2019, and some of those people I talk to every single day still, and they're closer to me than some of my actual family.
It's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about and it's too bad that movie theaters aren't, thank God they're not dead yet. But I know they're struggling, but that's that important of a thing for people, and not just the employees, but the people who go to the movies.
Exactly.
They get the same thing. Like you said, some of your guests are your friends, and there's probably some guests that you wish would never see again.
That is true. Yeah. I think I quit because of one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
can I tell you one of my stories?
Oh, go ahead.
This story ended up great. There was this guy who came to the movies with his son, and he was this big, like, high school coach guy. He's a jerk. And he would always send his son in first and then buy an adult ticket and a child ticket. His son was like 16 or 17. Okay, so that should have been an adult ticket, but he would send him in first so nobody would see him. Well, we saw it and we let him get away with it. And then I went from the Esplanade Theater to the Regency, and he's going there now. So I thought, no, he's not going to get away with this today. So he came up to the window and sent his son in and told the cashier, an adult and a child. I said, no, that's two adults. The guy just came in. And he went ballistic, started calling me names, telling me he was going to, and I'm like, finally just like, all right, fine, we'll do it. So we sold him the child ticket. Well, that guy went inside and sat down to watch the movie with his son, and some kids went and sat down behind him. And they were loud and obnoxious through the whole movie. Apparently, he didn't tell us this, obviously, because we would have put a stop to it, which is good, because at one point he got so mad, he turned around, grabbed one of the kids by the shirt, lifted him by the shirt, ripped the kid's shirt off, and then threw him back down. Well, that kid came out to me, and I called the cops, and they led that guy out in handcuffs. And that's what you get. I can't say it in the show.
He assaulted a minor.
Yeah. And I thought, that's what you get after all those years of this. Yeah, you go home in handcuffs.
Yeah.
So that felt pretty good. I'm sure you've got stories like that too.
Dozens. Yeah.
You guys had a big problem out there with the homeless people. We didn't have the homeless issue there, but you guys really had an issue.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, a lot of people, when I first started working there, like I was really like for them. I was like, yeah, just like there were some homeless people that were very nice. There were a lot that were taking advantage of the system. And then there were some that were just, every time they came in, it was an issue. It was like crazy. And by the end there, it got really, really bad.
Is that what was partially led to your exit? Yeah.
We had a guy, we called him the Brazilian guy, because he was from Brazil, and he would always come in, and he was always like on drugs, like really bad. And then, he leveled out a bit and he became nice, and he was okay again. But the last day, the day I put in my 2 weeks, he had come in and he was following women out to their cars and stuff like that. And, and I started telling the managers, like, hey, like this guy's doing this thing. Like, please don't sell him a ticket. Like he's not on a good one today.
Yeah.
Like we need to get rid of him. And I'm doing usher, cleaning theaters and stuff. And I see him and I'm like, okay, who sold him a ticket? So I go to the manager. I saw him, like, why'd you sell him a ticket? I told you he was like doing all this crazy stuff. Oh, he's not doing anything now. It's okay. He has a ticket. So like 10 minutes later, this lady comes out and she's like, oh, there's this guy in there in the theater and he's running around. He's standing on the seats and he's like staring at people. It's getting crazy. Like, it's kind of scary. So I go tell the manager again. I'm like, he's doing this. Well, he's not hurting anybody. I'm like, okay.
If nothing else, he's interrupting their movie they paid for.
They're like, the movie hasn't started yet. It's okay. And then I'm like, all right, well, so I'm cleaning theaters. I'm training somebody that day too. And, I'm trying to be like super positive about the place and stuff. And I'm already like, the homeless situation has gotten out of control. All the managers have changed. So it's not the same group. It's not even the same style of like the family. Everybody's matters. It's all numbers on a spreadsheet now.
Yeah.
And so I was already on my way out, but that day it was just, so like another person came out and complained. So I went back to the manager, and the district manager was there, and I told him too, and didn't do anything.
Bad.
So when I was cleaning the theater, some other lady came out. She said, hey, please, like, we have kids in there. Like, there's all this stuff. And I said, I've told them multiple times, ma'am, like I can't do anything about it. Like I've already told the people who need to know, and I think they're working on it. I'm not sure. And then I turn around and there's 9 or 10 people standing outside the theater. I'm like, all right, well, so I go up to the manager and I like cuss him out. I'm like, dude, if you don't do anything about this, I'm going to do something about it, and you're not going to like it when I do something about it. So he's like, okay, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And I'm like, yeah, figure it out right now.
Yeah.
Because all these people want a refund. So then I go in there and he like jumps up when he sees me, and then he runs out the door. And then so I go back. I'm like, don't let him back in. Like, do not like that. That's it. And I'm putting in my 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's it.
I would have done the same thing. I probably wouldn't have given him 2 weeks.
Because it was
ridiculous.
Yeah, it was.
And all it would do is simple phone call to the police. I would think would have them come over and handle that.
Well, like at this point, working there, we had called the police so many times on people that they just wouldn't come. Like they would come after 45 minutes, or they wouldn't come at all. It's just we're calling them. Exactly. We would call them so often, and we would get death threats all the time. And it was like, it was not a normal day at the Regency if you didn't get one death threat. But they wouldn't even come out for that. It's like, well, nobody got physically harmed, so we're not going to come out.
Oh, see, so in my case, that guy grabbed that kid and ripped his shirt clean off him. So, but still, that's the problem is people are paying money to see a movie. You go to the theater to experience an uninterrupted movie experience.
Yeah.
and you should be safe.
Yeah.
Those two things are givens.
Yeah.
And if they're not supplying that, then they failed that. So, I remember that not all the homeless people were bad, because I remember there was one guy, and I don't remember his name or anything like that, but Josh said every time he checked this exit, that guy was there. And it was like whenever Josh got to work in the 10 or 11 or whatever, he would let him in, and the guy would stay all day, like going to the theaters, but he was always calm and cool and collected. And they, I wouldn't call them friends, but Josh knew this guy was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so they did. He took care of me. They, let him stay inside where it was cool or whatever, or warm. And so those people exist too. But the ones that are problems, like that guy.
Yeah, it just ruins it for everybody.
Yeah. And why wouldn't the district manager go in there and handle it? That's his job.
He's kind of a pushover.
There was a homeless guy that used to hang out at one of the entrances to that to the Winco mall, not mall, the driveway that leads into the shopping center.
Mm-hmm.
And he was I'd say probably about Scotty's height. About
it was not me.
It was about his build.
Okay,
but white hair, wore glasses, and a lot of times he was always sprawled out there by the light. Well, he was in the theater once when I went in there. I don't remember what the movie was. And the movie had started, and then this guy is talking. Him and his buddies were talking out loud. And I'm going, shh, shh. Finally got to the point where I stood up. I said, we're trying to watch this. And they threw some explicit words at me. And they finally calmed down. But come on. I don't care if I'm paying $1 for the movie or I'm paying $100 for the movie. That's my money. I paid for it.
That's right. You paid for an experience and you paid to be safe. And
exactly.
That's what it should be.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get into all this stuff, but because I still like that theater. Yeah. I'll go to that theater and
yeah.
So because they still have decent prices. The screenings are fine. I know they're digital on every theater now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But I never had a problem with digital screenings.
Yeah.
Never. I thought people would complain about them. I'm like, here's the thing. The film's the same every time you watch it. Mm-hmm. It's not like the print's getting older and scenes are missing. It's the same every time you watch it.
Are different every single time. Yeah.
Or people that I knew a projectionist once who started to reel 10 minutes early so that he could get out 10 minutes early. So that kind of stuff's going on. Can't happen with a hard drive, I don't think. So
yeah, with that, if they want to get out early, they just look at the movie that ends at the last moment and they're like, oh, well, the projector stopped working. We would do that on
There's always
holidays and stuff,
Yeah. Because you know what happens on holidays? Never fails. There's your last screening is a 10 o'clock show and nobody's there. You're getting ready to close and somebody drives up.
One person.
Every time.
Yeah. That's when we were rushed to the door with the lock and just close it. No. Yeah.
You don't have to worry about changing reels.
Yeah. Well, that's also part of what's missed. One of Josh's favorite stories about the theater. And see, folks, this is the kind of stories that you're going to find in the script of First Run, because this stuff all really happens. Josh called me one night at midnight and he's all, because Jaws was the flashback movie and Jaws is my favorite movie of all time. And he calls me and he says, Dad, we got the most pristine print of Jaws I've ever seen. You need to come and watch this. Because I guess he had to watch it all the way through. Yeah. And so it's midnight. I had to be at work at 6 the next morning. I thought, I just can't do it. He of course, he texted me afterwards. He says, it was beautiful. He said, it was just a perfect print. And I should have gone and seen it the next night just to check it out, but I didn't, because I've seen Jaws probably 250 times. I just love that movie that much. And I'll go see it again. And I saw it on the Cinerama screen at the Cinerama Dome.
Right.
It's not a Cinerama picture, but it's still glorious.
Yeah.
Just glorious. So I really should have done that. But that's the kind of stories that people were so jealous of Josh because his job was to watch the movies. I said, well, think about some of the movies he has to watch.
Exactly. Yeah.
In this day and age, there's so many movies that you can watch on your big screen in your house. But
it's not as big enough.
There are certain movies, I don't care what you say, they have to be seen on the big screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that big giant movie.
You're absolutely right. Like Megalopolis. I'm so crushed that I missed that. But you got to go see Megalopolis.
Yeah, I did.
All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about not too much because I don't want any spoilers, but I'm getting a sense that you weren't thrilled.
No, I wasn't. Honest review, because I can't even explain anything about that film without sounding like a crazy person. But when I left the theater, it felt like I had paid $14 to get kidnapped and beat up. It was just,
That's not a good review.
Yeah. Which there, I'm trying to find the good people who had good things to say about it, because I was sitting through the movie and I'm like, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just too dumb for this. Maybe it's me. And I don't know. Like, I still keep thinking about it. I feel like I keep going back to that. Like, it's a me problem and it's not a problem with the movie. So,
well, based on the reviews and what have you in the box office, for sure, you're not alone. So
yeah.
That's true. My interest in it is, as I've said on the show before, is that I want to see what at least a one-time master filmmaker has done with his own $120 million, because everything on that screen is his fault, good or bad.
Yeah.
So I was curious about that, but then the reviews started to filter down, and now what you've just said, it's kind of dimming my hopes about it being anything special.
It sucks because it's Francis Ford Coppola, know, and it's his vision. You want it to succeed, you want it to be good and everything. I mean, because he did all these amazing movies in the past, and he helped George Lucas get his start. He was there with Steven Spielberg and everything, and it's like cinema changed because of this guy. So you don't want him to fail this bad, but yeah, it was just, I didn't know what was going on.
Oh, wow.
So should they change it to Megaflopolis?
Yeah, Megaflopolis. Me and my friends, we called it Megaslopolis. So it's just like, I almost asked for the ticket like that. And then when I asked I was like, okay, one ticket for Megalopolis, and the guy selling me the ticket, he just goes, okay. And he rolls up the ticket. He hands it to me. I was like, it's going to be on the left. I'm like, all right, thank you.
It's like apologetic.
Yeah.
Sorry to send you there like that.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Well, I'll watch it when it finally comes out. I'm not going to get to see it in the big screen, which sucks.
Yeah.
But I'll check it out the minute I can check it out on my little.
It's got to be showing someplace. Even
I'm not going to drive.
Sherman Oaks is the closest place.
See, I'm not driving
yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not driving to Sherman Oaks to watch a bad movie.
Yeah.
So, and there are people who've liked it
down there.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Probably a tiki bar nearby.
Yeah.
There are people who enjoyed it and talked about how there's still some groundbreaking filmmaking in it, but if it doesn't hold together as a whole, then it doesn't work.
And there's some wacky decisions too, and a lot of things that just never went anywhere with it. And I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to begin to save it, because I can't even begin to explain what the movie was about to you. Like, I can explain a general storyline, but that doesn't mean it'll make sense when I'm done. And it's unfortunate because he did that movie with his money, and then earlier this year, Kevin Costner with Horizon, he did that movie with his own money, and he risked a lot on it. And that movie, while I kind of enjoyed it, I think it was just
I did too.
I think it was just a problem with like the editing and the pacing of the film, because you're just so confused. Okay, we're over here now. We're over here. We're 6 states away, and then at the end, it's just, oh, that was a trailer for what? Like, what are we?
That ending. I mean, it was up to that point. It's like, it's not so bad. It's a little sloppy and a little weird, but it's not. And then that ending is like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, even if it was just a cut to black and it said Horizon Part 1, and then it went into that, it was like, okay, cool. Like, now I know that this is for Part 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. But also that movie, it didn't feel like a whole thing. It felt like just needed all 4 parts to understand one cohesive story, whereas most movies, when they're doing it, it's like beginning, middle, end, beginning, middle, end, beginning, middle, end, beginning, middle, end, and then here's the whole story of the 4. And it just didn't feel
we're
like
not going to get that now. That's not going to happen.
You had to wait so long before Kevin Costner's character appeared on screen.
That didn't even bother me, because there's other characters around that were interesting characters, but it just, the way that they just drop people on you. I mean, the first time I saw Jeff Fahey, it's like, where'd he come? And I love Jeff Fahey, by the way, but I thought, where'd he come from?
Yeah.
All of a sudden it just dropped right there in the middle of the screen. I think the mistake that was made there was that Costner should have listened to the studio heads for once and done it as a TV series.
I think that would have been great. It
would have been better than Yellowstone.
One episode in each state. It's perfect. Everybody will know what's going on, but like the 15 minutes here, and then you cut over here for 30 seconds for someone to go, Horizon. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then cut back to somewhere else for another 20 minutes.
Agreed.
Well, you look at some of the TV shows, especially the cop dramas.
Yeah.
They have different stories going on in that hour that you're watching it.
Sure.
And maybe that's kind of,
well, if that's what he wanted to do, he didn't do it right, because it was just, like he said, it was very confusing. All of a sudden things just were happening and you didn't know where it came from, or you're back here and you didn't know, one of the things that stood out the most for me, and I was like jolted by it, was when Costner and I don't remember her name, but they come to that hill and they look over and there's that little city down there. And then it cuts and it goes off to another story. And then the next thing it's back and he's got a job and she's having sex with him. Like, when did this all happen? You know, because it was jolting. And so that kind of thing, it would have flowed better had been a television series.
When did you realize, both of you, when did you realize that Horizon was the name of the community?
I think the beginning, because he held up the poster.
I thought so too.
And then it was like they were building that.
I didn't realize
town.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that was the name of the town until later in the film when I think I saw a sign that said "Welcome to Horizon" or something. I thought Horizon was like, check out on your horizon. We're building this community, but I never remember seeing this is the name of the town.
Yeah, in the very beginning, he holds it up, Horizon Mobile Home Park. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you see the tornadoes off in the distance. Yeah,
with free internet.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Kevin Costner fan, and
that's my problem. Is I am too, and I know the second one's finished.
Yeah,
so we'll get the second one. God knows when or where, but we're not going to get a third or fourth one because maybe at some point they'll convert it to television. They could, I would think. You know,
I think if they recut it and just kind of go from the ground up back to television, I think it'd really work out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I saw that the vision was there and it had the potential to work out. It's just the execution wasn't right.
It was unfortunate, very unfortunate, because I'm a big fan of Costner's. I even like Waterworld and The Postman.
Yeah.
I don't care that they got bad reviews. Well, Dance with the Wolves won like 11 Oscars. So it's not the same pool as Waterworld or The Postman.
I think the first thing I saw Kevin Costner in was Fandango. And it was a great movie. It was basically a coming of age story or movie. And the next thing was either The Big Chill or Silverado. Of course, you only got to see pieces of him in Big Chill.
The sad thing is that Costner, apparently, based on what I've been reading, is he's in trouble financially now because he put so much of his own money in that movie, and he didn't have the money that Francis Ford Coppola has. Coppola will survive. He's worth over $1 billion, and $120 million of his own money taken from his winery. He'll survive.
Yeah.
But I don't know what Costner's. I don't know what he's going to do, and it's going to be hard for him to get a paying gig now because they're going to say it's not really a box office draw.
Yeah.
So he's got to do something sharp.
He might start doing what Nicolas Cage has done. Start making these type movies to recoup money.
I think that's what he should do, maybe, but I don't know that his ego will let him do that. And I don't know Costner. I'm just going from what I've seen, but I think Cage did that to pay his IRS bills and then discovered that, hey, I can make these really good independent films and not worry about the whole studio situation. And as far as I'm concerned, he's given a number of Oscar-worthy performances in those independent films. I just don't see Costner doing that. It would work because he's a good actor too, but I just don't see him doing that. We're going to take a quick break. I have to do a disclaimer on this. This is the first time I'm showing this commercial. This is for our friend, Dr. Shocker and Rosie Radish from Reno. They just opened their tiki bar, the Pele Utu. I did this commercial yesterday. I intended for my voice to sound like the narrator from SpongeBob, but I failed pretty miserably. It sounds like a Caucasian Rastafarian. But anyway, this is how it goes. Pele Utu, Reno's only traditional tiki bar. A kaleidoscope of colors and tropical charm with the undeniable allure of paradise and intoxicatingly delicious cocktails. Pele Utu, open Wednesday through Sunday from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. 1275 Stardust Street in Reno, Nevada. For more information, please visit pele-utu.bar.
I'm telling you, next time you want an Irishman to do it.
That wasn't an Irish voice, John. Nobody knows what that accent was.
I understand that, but anytime you want an Irishman to do something, let me know.
Remember what happened when you did that at Dargan's? They almost threw our asses out.
That's because I didn't understand Irish. It's a good thing I wasn't speaking Gaelish.
Yeah. So back to first run. So shooting starts next Sunday, or is it
next Saturday on the 19th?
Next Saturday is when you're doing it first.
Yeah.
Okay. And where are you shooting that at?
I'm going to shoot it at my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing the scene. We're shooting all the movie's set up in 3 acts, and we're doing everything in the second act outside of the movie theaters. So the first scene we're shooting is when they go to the mom's house. So that's the first.
Perfect. That makes sense then.
First thing we're doing.
What day is that?
It's on the 19th, on the Saturday, and then the second day on the 20th is we're shooting at Tony's Burrito Hut. And we're doing the lunch scene and when they introduce the villains and all that stuff. So.
Right. That's over the Tony's Burrito Hut over by Grocery Outlet.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
One, yeah.
That's right around the corner from my house. I thought I'd drop by if you don't mind. I know it's not my shooting day, but I thought I'd drop by and just see how, I'm curious.
More the merrier.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, cool. I can help out if you need me for anything.
That's
Sure.
a good thing because I was thinking of the one over there on Kimball.
On Kimball, the new one, yeah.
Well, you thought wrong.
Obviously.
Yeah. So did you approach them? Did you ask them if you could shoot there and stuff? Or or just going to go in on the sly?
Yeah. No, no, it's not that kind of film. Unfortunately, no. I wanted to do this a little more professional and get permission because
That's important.
I'm at the age where I can't really say it's a student film anymore, or like get kicked out of place. This is like we need to be there a while. For most of the locations, it was I would call, they would give me an email, and then I'd have to email them, and they'd say to email this person, and then email this person, and it's always a back and forth and back and forth, and it was this long thing. So when I finally called Tony's, and I think Tony's was the last location I called, I called them, and I was like, "Hi, I need to speak to a manager." Like, "What's it for?" I was like, "Oh, I'm an independent filmmaker. I want to make a movie there at the restaurant. I was wondering who I need to talk to talk that." A movie? I was like, "Yeah, a movie. What's it going to be on?"
I don't know yet.
I was like, I don't know. I'm going to put it in streaming and film festivals. He's like, "Was it going to be on YouTube?" I was like, "I don't think so. I'm going to try to put it more professional places."
Bigger than that.
He's like, "Okay, yeah." Yeah? He's like, "Yeah, I'm the person to talk to. Yeah, you come whenever you want." Oh, okay. I started saying because I didn't have any of my notes ready because I was ready for an email or I was ready for this and that. And he's like, "Yeah, just come whenever." And, so I was like, "Okay, well, what about these days? Does this work? Does this work? Does this work?" And and he's like, "You sure you want to do this here? Have you been to our restaurant?" I was like, "Yeah, I've been to the restaurant. I wrote the scene with you guys in mind." He's like, "Okay, if you want a restaurant, there's a lot of other nicer places." And I was like, "Oh no, I kind of want that place." And he's like, "Oh."
Doesn't he understand Tony's is part of Ventura history?
Exactly, yeah, and that's what I wanted. I wrote them in there because it was a place that I used to go a lot, and I kind of figured all right, I want to use a local place regardless. If they say no, there's a dozen other places that I could call.
True.
And, figure it out. But yeah, worked first try, and I was like, "Oh,
Easy enough."
Cool, yeah.
So is he going to be doing craft services and meal breaks?
We're doing it on a Sunday when they're closed, so probably not. But
man.
I was looking forward to corn burritos.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna have to go the day before and pick up some corn burritos because it's a prop for you, yeah. And it'll probably just be donuts from that place next door. So
which is a good place. I like the people.
Oh yeah.
And they got good soup there too, Tony's.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like Tony's a lot, and like I said, it is part of. I grew up in this area. When I was a kid, I would go down there and get 9 corn burritos for $5.
Yeah, and
I'd eat all 9 of them, which is why I look like I do today. But it was good stuff. So, what other locations are you shooting at?
So it's we're just going to be using some of the roads around here in the orchards and stuff. My house for that one scene.
You gonna shoot at the theater at all, or
we're not shooting at the Regency. They said it was $1,000 an hour to shoot there.
Yeah, pass.
Next, that's a no. So that bummed me out because they were the first people I asked, and I was on 3 months. I was just like, "Yeah, this movie's dead. I'm not going to be able to do it." And I started calling around, and the Cinemark said, "No, we don't do that kind of thing." All the big theaters chains were like, "No, we don't do that kind of thing." But I ended up talking to the Roxy in Camarillo, and they own the Plaza in Oxnard as well. And I need 2 theaters for the movie, and they gave me a price that was much better. that would equate to the same that Regency did, but per day.
Oh, wow.
You know, so so that's what we're going with right now. We're going to see what we can shoot there and what we can shoot other places to kind of like ease on the cost, because that's where all the budget's going, is the movie theaters.
Yeah.
But you know, I think that's an important thing. It's like
you got to have the movie
You got to have the locations. So
Yeah.
And then I'm using my work. I work at the school over here, and we're going to turn that into the post office.
Perfect.
Because the post office, it was like, yeah, submit an application online, send your check over here to Pennsylvania. When we get both of those things at the same time, we'll take a look at your application. We'll call the post office. We'll call you, see what you want, and then we'll go back to them. We'll see if it's okay. We'll go back to you. We'll ask you more questions. And it'll take like a month and a half before we say maybe, before we get the ball rolling on everything. And I was like,
the
all
government
right, well,
for you. Yeah.
like,
You could
I
build
can't
a
wait that
post
long.
office.
Exactly. It's like, I can't wait that long. And, you know, the school I work at, I'm like looking in the office. I'm like, I could do this. And I asked the office ladies there, I'm like, you want to be in a movie? And they're like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. Cool. You know, it's all settled.
That's what I understand about Regency. It's like $1,000 an hour. And here's the thing. I mean, wouldn't you just exchange it for a screen credit? That would be my guess. You're getting publicity out of it. You know, I don't understand it sometimes.
I can remember back in the 90s, I got to do a couple of fishing videos down in Baja,
Mhm.
and the producers had contacted, I think it was California Air, which flew down there. We got to fly first class down there on their dime because they were getting an ad.
That's what I mean. Well, but they probably got a full page ad, which we can't do in a movie, obviously.
But I mean, when you played the video, you saw their name, probably, and I think it showed one of their planes going across.
Yeah.
And we stayed at the first time we went down there, we stayed at what then was called El Presidente.
Mhm.
The same thing. We had first class accommodations that they exchanged for their name being in the video.
That's done a lot. That's why I was kind of surprised they charge you that much money. You charge it a minimal amount, and then, you know, product placement, use the Regency cups, use all that stuff. I think
it was just like like screw off.
We don't want to do it.
Yeah,
So you might be right about that. That's too bad.
Speaking of Regency, when did that name change? Because I know it used to be called a Man Theater.
I don't remember. It was a Man Theater when I worked there.
Mhm.
But it's changed since then. Yeah, I don't know.
I remember.
Do you have any idea?
No, it was Regency when I started working there in
Yeah,
2013. So.
Sure, when Josh was there was Regency too. I don't know.
I remember the Ventura County premiere of The Hunt for Red October was there.
God, I knew he was going to bring this up. I knew, because John has these little things that he tells every time something's mentioned, and so now he's going to tell you about the model he built. Go.
Oh, I haven't heard this story. I listened to the show a lot, so I haven't heard it. So.
Okay, so it's time to tell it again. Obviously.
Yeah.
At the time, were you still working there?
No.
Okay, my younger brother James was one of the assistant managers. The manager of the store was a guy named J.D. Powers, no relation to J.D. Powers, the big conglomerate guy. And James comes home one night and says, you're going to be getting some models to put together for the premiere of this movie. I said, what? He volunteered me.
Mhm.
And I ended up getting these 3 models, submarines, the Red October, which was a huge model, the USS Dallas, Los Angeles class model, the American one, and then the Killer Hunter, the Hunter Killer sub, Russian sub that was chasing the Red October. And I built all 3 of them. And I had fun doing that. I was, in my younger days, I was very meticulous when I would build a model. I mean, it had to be just right.
He's very good at it. I'll give him credit for that. He's not so good at talking, but he's very good at the.
And anyway, I wasn't going to bring up the models. I was just going to say,
you're right, you word.
The other movie I remember that was showing there was Full Metal Jacket. And the reason why I remember that one so.
Did you build that model of the jacket?
Yes. That one was really weird. The jacket had to be just, when it was over, we walked out. Nobody was talking. It was like, it was silence.
Pretty grim movie.
Yeah. But it affected so many people. And I knew some friends of mine who were in the Marine Corps during Vietnam, and we were talking about it, and they go, Yeah, that movie pretty much captured what was really going on over there.
Hmm.
And it was just it affected.
How did
a
we
lot
get
of people.
here from the models?
We were okay. Well, it's
Yeah.
Anyway, so what's the name of your movie?
First Run.
First Run.
Now, when you're directing this, is this the first movie you've directed?
I've directed a handful of shorts and like YouTube videos and stuff.
Oh, so you can find those on YouTube. Do you have a channel
Yeah.
on YouTube?
Yes.
You would not want anybody to know about that channel?
I have a few, but they're yeah. Zero Turtle would be one. That's where I have like a lot of my short films and stuff. 127 Studios is another one, which, you know, that's just me and my friends talking about movies, but a lot of the times just like making fun of them or whatever, just like talk like why do they do this? What are they? It's just
I'll have to watch your Megalopolis piece.
We're taking a break right now from all of our videos because we're working.
On the
We're all
movie, that
working
makes
on
sense.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we haven't been posting in a while. But we did a trailer react on Megalopolis, and it was all very positive. And then the one person at the end was like, "This is the worst thing. This looks terrible. I don't know what you guys are talking about. This is terrible."
You just had hopes
know,
for it. Yeah.
Maybe it's a good
Yeah.
thing we didn't go see it
It's not.
because I would be comparing it to another movie.
Yeah, we're not going there either. He's back on his thing. I'm telling
No.
you. It's like the Joker, the part D.
I haven't seen it yet.
And I don't think I'm going to go now.
Yeah.
Because the reviews have been so horrible. The audience responses have been so horrible. It's
Yeah.
like, I'd love to go see a movie a week. That's what I prefer
Yeah.
to do. But I think I'll go see something else.
Well, with that, like I thought it was just because it was a musical.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate musicals because
true.
that's what happened with the Mean Girls film that came out earlier this year, which, you know, that got terrible reviews. Everyone was hating on it because it was a musical. My wife and I watched it last week or the week before, and it was fun. It was all right.
Faye, I'm
Yeah.
all over it. Yeah.
And so I thought maybe it could be the same thing with this, but the first Joker movie, I didn't like. It was good, like looked great, cinematography and everything, but I think it should have just been a contained story. I don't like Joaquin Phoenix, and I didn't like how that movie took off and like became something for certain types of people.
Yeah, I agree.
And it became like a red flag movie. And it's like, if that's on your top 5 list, like you're probably somebody that
They should be paying attention.
Exactly.
To.
Yeah. And so like there's that going into it that I don't think, like, even if I do go see it and it's fine, like it's still not going to be for me.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. When people ask me about that first movie, I say it's very disturbing. It's very deep. And I appreciate it. I can't say I liked it, but I respect it.
Yeah.
But I'd never will watch it again.
Yeah.
So
and I went with my wife too, and like everyone was saying, "Oh, this movie's for incels and stuff." And like I looked around when we were sitting down, and it was just she was the only woman in there, and I'm like, "Oh,
wow.
oh,
yeah,
okay."
Oh, maybe it's a good thing they made a musical that nobody's going to see this time.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
too bad though. I mean, I thought Joaquin Phoenix was. I'm kind of with you. I don't really like him, but I think
just every interview he's just like not a good person.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that kind of lunacy probably makes him a good actor.
Uh-huh.
You know,
I didn't see the biopic that he did as Johnny Cash.
I see he was good in that.
Walk the Line.
Yeah.
I saw clips from it, and I thought he was really good.
Yeah, that was a good film.
I thought he was good in Gladiator, and I really enjoyed his performance in Signs.
Mm-hmm.
But
speaking of Gladiator, what are you thinking about Gladiator 2 so far? Other than the fact it's got a terrible title.
Well, I just saw Gladiator 1 for the first time maybe 2 months ago.
Okay.
Which I enjoyed. I have issues with Ridley Scott, but I watched it and I was like, all right, Ridley, I'll give you this one.
I always tell people it's very good. It's just a Gladiator movie.
Yeah. I don't know how they can get a second one. I'll go see it because it looks cool. Like the ships in the Colosseum, which they actually did from what I am told.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll go check it out.
Yeah, I'm interested too.
Yeah.
I really think they could have done better than Gladiator 2, though. It kind of takes some of the class out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, just call it Gladiator: The Return, or I don't know, something different than
Gladiators.
Even that would have worked. It worked out for James Cameron, right? So, but I'm looking forward to
in
it.
the first one. Isn't what was the character's name?
Bob.
Yeah, that was it. Bob. He gets killed, But didn't his wife and child get killed?
I don't know
Isn't that-
because
They did,
Yeah.
but like, so he has like this side woman from his past, and that's the woman who's at throughout the movie, and she has a kid. So I don't know, because in the trailer I think it plays parts from both kids' perspectives. So I don't know if it's actually his son that survived, but they showed like the physical body of the kid. So I don't know in the first one, or if it's that kid who wasn't his kid,
who could have really been his
but-
kid.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure.
well, we'll find out shortly because it's out
Yeah.
what later this month or next month.
I think November. Yeah,
Yeah,
November
so-
20 something.
I'll
But
I'll look for it, you know, and it's got Denzel in it, so
Oh, I'm there.
that's
but in terms of directing, yeah,
Yeah.
I've done a couple videos. Nothing with professional actors like with this. I actually had to hire professional actors, but like most of the stuff I've done is just with my friends, and just, you know, I take what I can get, which is most of the time it's like gold anyways. And we're just making goofy videos, so it's totally fine. But
that's fun stuff though. That's what you do, and that's how
Yeah,
every little goofy video you make hones your skills on something.
yeah, and it's just, you know, each video that I wanted to do, like I tried to hit a different sort of effect, or I wanted to get a different sort of tone, but still make it funny, and like just kind of let my friends go wild with it. So it's like, here's the script, here's a couple of lines that you should hit something around. This doesn't have to be exact, but like this is the first time it's like I'm hiring people. I had to go through we had to go through 300 applications for actors and stuff on this just to hire our main cast, and then everybody else outside of that I'm calling in favors. I'm saying like, you know, do you want to be on this? Do you want to be on this? Do you want to be on this? Cool. Because like I feel like even though all these people aren't actors, I feel like there's still a realm in which it works out with
Yeah.
the characters and stuff. Like as long as everything else is good around it, that will enhance it in some way. Because I mean, none of the people I've worked with in the past have been actors, and they still give pretty great
Yeah, well,
performances.
and that speaks to you as a director because that's, you know, you're telling them what you want and helping them give that to you. So that's good.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you asking John and I to be in it. I'm going to be Larry the mailman, and John's going to be really old Greg, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a hobo.
Yeah.
Which, do they still use that term hobo these days?
I think they call it no, they don't use hobo anymore.
No, it's what is it?
It's the
Unhoused.
the unhoused, or the
Structurally challenged.
structurally challenged.
Well,
Yeah, something like that.
The thing is, because I saw this thing about a week or so ago talking about hobos.
Uh-huh.
Hobos actually worked for what they got.
Uh-huh.
They had no home. They would go from place to place, ride the rails, whatever. But they would work. Okay, I'll paint the barn. Just need some food and or whatever.
Mm.
You're not going to find that with these unhoused today, for the most part.
Some of them. You can't lump everybody under the
I
same.
know, but well, that's what I mean for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're directing first run, what atmosphere, what theme are you kind of shooting for? I mean, are you shooting it as a Cameron Crowe kind of movie, or are you shooting it as a Zucker Brothers movie?
I took a lot of inspiration from the films Clerks and Superbad when writing it.
Perfect.
So I kind of want it to be that fun sort of nostalgic feeling, like adventure film. Because I feel like in movies these days, they don't feel the same as they did like older films. You know, there's something about like those older films that you just kind of like feel like warm inside, and you're like, oh yeah, like this is totally relatable. Like it's this movies these days, like even if it's good, you walk out and you're just kind of like, it's all right, you know, and you kind of forget about it. I want this movie to feel familiar to people, and I know the story too. It's probably something that everybody's seen before in some way or another, just wrapped into different paper.
I think you're right.
But like, I feel like it's going to have that feeling where it's like, it feels familiar to people, and people will be able to hopefully connect with it in some way. So
Yeah, I think you're right. I
That's what
think
I'm
that's
going
one of
for.
the things I liked about the script is that I'm reading the script and these are all people that I don't know them. They're characters on a page, but I know people like them. You know, you can relate to them almost instantly.
Yeah.
And that's essential. So
Yeah. And each of the characters in the film mostly are based on an amalgamation of people that I actually knew. So like, for example, Nathan, is based off of like a lot of the kids who were starting out at Regency when I was like a trainer and I was seeing how they were. And like my assistant camera guy, Dale Riley, I'm like, I wrote a lot about him, like how we viewed him in the terms of Regency.
the doorbell isn't here for some reason. I don't know why.
And myself when I started at Regency. And then Vincent is based off of me when I was leaving Regency, and a lot of people who were training me and a lot of people who became trainers or managers while I was working there. And I was able to see that kind of stuff.
Well, it sounds like
So-
you're following the Stephen King formula.
Which is the,
You write what you know from
oh
your
yeah,
experiences.
exactly. Yeah. So,
Sorry, I'm trying to find that bell because it's driving me crazy.
Oh.
I see a little box of the bell in there.
I keep hearing it.
Right there.
I was going to say, it almost sounds like got a battery going dead.
it was sounding like it was in.
All right, sorry about that. I had to get that out of here. It's a doorbell for the House of Magic because when they're in here doing a podcast, somebody could walk into the gift shop, the magic shop. And so they have that bell to remind them that. But when they leave it here and it's beeping when they're, it gets to be a little much. So when do you said you're shooting this month? Are you doing any shooting next month? Because the next thing you told me was January.
Yeah. So basically for October and November, I wanted it to be all the second act stuff because those locations are free. They're places we can go back to again without having to worry about insurance or, paying or scheduling or anything like that. And it gives us a chance to figure out how all the actors work together, how all the crew works together, and how everything flows together, how much time we're going to need at the movie theater realistically. Because each day that's budget being cut into at the movie theater. So this amount of time gives us that ability to plan accordingly for that, and also gives us time to build budget for that because I'm paying for this out of my pocket and I have a friend who's also paying for it out of his pocket a
You
little
guys
bit.
are like Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah. Hopefully knock on wood, like it comes out better than Megalopolis. But also like I didn't want to be like, all right, cool, like let's start shooting at the movie theater at the end of November and then everybody's gone for Thanksgiving, everybody's gone for Christmas. And that insurance window, the longer you have it open, the more expensive it gets. So basically you get like a month. So we're going to try to shoot in January and February just to try and knock it all out in one go. Just multiple weekends, so
you expect to be done shooting by March? Is that the game plan?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
And then what's your editing situation? Are you using? What I'm kind of curious which program you're planning on using.
I'm using Premiere, but we're shooting on Blackmagic cameras, which has its own like file type, and it shoots, or you can only edit it on DaVinci Resolve.
Oh, interesting.
But there's like ways that you can pair up those two programs where you can edit it through Adobe, which is what I'm familiar with, or you can like export it into an Adobe readable software. So that's what I'm going to be doing.
I was just curious because I do minimal editing sometimes for these podcasts. These are podcasts. They're always 720. They're always just simple microphones, but sometimes I got to cut something out or I got to add something in. And I've just been using this free Orbi program, which is, I think, is that what it's called? Orbi, I think. But anyway, it works. It does a trick, but it's not nearly as advanced as Premiere, obviously.
Well, DaVinci Resolve is free.
Oh, really?
And it's pretty much the same sort of level as Adobe Premiere does. It does all the same stuff. Like you can get a paid version, but I think the paid version is pretty much the same as the free one.
There's no watermarking or anything on it, or
I don't think so.
Wow,
No.
I'll check that out. That might be
because I've used the free version before to like I said, transfer those files into Adobe. And it works pretty well. I don't know the interface very well, so that's why I prefer Premiere.
Sure, yeah, because that's I used to use Adobe to can't remember the name of the program, to edit the audio shows.
Yeah.
But then I lost my license, so I started using Audacity, and it works just as well. So
Yeah.
there's a learning curve.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
a learning curve. So
And I mean, that's the thing. There's tutorials for everything on YouTube. So like, even when I'm doing videos, I'm like, man, I don't know how to do. Oh, there it is. Cool. All right. Just type in all this stuff and then it's there. Now I know how to do it. So.
yeah, it's terrifying how much information is on YouTube.
Yeah.
I fixed so many things using YouTube videos. Like, I can fix this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool.
Okay, you're shooting digital, obviously.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you did your movies, Scott, way back when, you shot on, was it 8 or
Oh
16?
God, why'd you bring that up? Now I look really old. It was 8mm
Yeah, but those were
and Super 8.
those were deep movies.
They were not. We did
Well-
one called Roller Derby Junior League or something. Come on,
What was
Rollerball Junior League.
what was the truck one? Was it trash truck? No, garbage truck. What was it?
Forklift Drivers
Yeah,
from Hell,
Forklift
which you can
Drivers
find on
from Hell.
YouTube, by the way.
We can.
We
Okay.
did
I'll look
2
it up.
films. Forklift Drivers from Hell. We actually
Uh-huh.
did 3. Forklift Drivers from Hell. We did Night of the Doll,
Uh-huh.
which was way before Chucky.
Uh-huh.
I think they stole our idea.
Uh-huh.
And then we did a film festival. Was it the 24-hour film festival, 48-hour film festival?
Uh-huh.
And on a Friday night, they sent you an email with your genre, prop you had to use, and a line you had to use in the film. And so we did that. This restaurant out in Oxnard was kind of to stay there overnight. So we went up to Sandy's restaurant, and we went out there and we shot. I wrote the script. My partner at the time directed it, and we submitted it and instantly lost. But that's not the point. It's Searching for Inspiration is the name of it,
Mhm.
and they put me in it, which was their first mistake.
Mhm.
And like you're gonna find out. And anyway, you can also find that on. I'm actually pretty proud of that one because we did it in 48 hours and it came through.
Yeah.
I think we may have gotten in trouble because we used you're supposed to compose all the music within that 48 hours too,
Oh, uh-huh.
and we used the guy who was done films since then. But I think he used stock music of his own
Oh,
instead of
making it new.
yeah, and I think
Okay.
that kicked us out of the process right away
Gotcha.
because we have like orchestral music.
Well,
We don't
Right.
get that.
if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys hadn't cut a particular scene out, you probably would have won.
Yeah, the movie was supposed to be 10 minutes long. We got to 9 minutes and we had to cut John Cena out. Sorry, John.
Oh, I see.
This was me. I had dark glasses on.
Uh-huh.
He was the dead guy at the restaurant.
So John's the money maker and you're
I'm the creative guy. At least that's what I tell myself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I
Gotcha.
played Sandy's was haunted,
uh-huh.
and I mean,
Oh, and I think I met the
Really?
ghost.
Oh, okay. I've heard that story.
Yeah.
On the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see. that's-
Sandy's is no longer Sandy's anymore. It's a Mexican restaurant, I believe.
Uh-huh.
But when it was Sandy's, the place was haunted, and I got to play the dead guy.
Uh-huh.
I never moved, even when you hear cut. I never moved.
Wow.
Method acting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was great talking to you, Jeff. Thanks for coming in today. And we'll look forward. We'll keep reporting on this as things move along.
Sure.
It'll be interesting to see the shot next week at Tony's Burrito Hut. So yeah, I'll come hang out if you don't mind.
No, yeah, go ahead.
And then we'll just keep everybody informed as we go along and see what the process is. Get you back on here to talk. Maybe have some of the actors or something come in at some point.
Sure. Yeah.
So we'll just keep it alive for you. Keep it going here for all.
Yeah, I'm gonna try the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, of course you are. Yeah. So and anyway, one more time, tell everybody where your YouTube channel is that you don't really want them to know.
Oh man, Zero Turtle on YouTube. That's where all my shorts are, and 127 Studios. You can hear me complain about movies.
Are you? Do you have a website for First Run yet, or anything like that?
No, we're trying to make a GoFundMe, but we stopped at the point where they want a promo video or they want a promo picture or something, but we haven't made that yet.
Okay.
But yeah, we're making a GoFundMe just to try and help ease the rest. Try to get a couple more days at the movie theater, because we only have a limited amount that we could use,
Right.
and that's like right now we have half of it, and then we're using these next couple of paychecks to get the rest of it.
Right.
So,
To fill the coiffures
Yeah.
again.
so
They use the House of Magic has produced 3 or 4 feature films here,
mhm.
and they've used that and had success. So that might work
Okay,
for you. It
good,
might
good.
actually work out for you.
Yeah. And I don't think we're asking for a lot, because I've seen some of those GoFundMe's. It's like, $280,000. I'm like, well, I'm, $10K is nothing compared to what all these other people
Yeah,
are
that's
asking.
true.
So I feel like it'll be okay. You know.
I have never invested in one of those, unfortunately.
Mhm.
I did one, and it was they were going to re-release a couple of James Horner scores.
Oh, okay.
I'm a huge movie music fan.
Yeah.
I just love it. And they haven't been reissued in years, so this guy was going to re-record them and issue CDs. And I only gave him $10 because I'm not that rich. But they needed 48,000. They didn't even get close.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I never got my $10 either.
Uh-huh.
So, but anyway, it's worked out for them. So yeah, it's definitely worth a shot there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Johnny, you got anything else? I didn't think so. So,
Yeah,
go ahead.
What are you watching lately?
Nothing. I've been dealing with the wedding.
Oh, well, then
I did watch. I watched an old Vincent Price movie called The Tingler.
Oh, I remember.
Tingler.
The Tingler.
Okay. I haven't seen that one.
The Tingler is about, Vincent Price is this scientist, and he discovers, that feeling you get in your spine when you get scared, that little tingle.
Yeah.
He finds out that it's actually a critter that's living in your body.
Uh-huh.
And it's interesting because, you think your spine's pretty thin, but this critter is about the size of a lobster.
Uh-huh.
Pulls it out. Well, so they're chasing this little lobster around town as it's escaping, and they're trying to stop it. But the whole point of this movie, 1959, was to terrify the people in the theaters. So what they did is there's one scene where Vincent Price and his buddy are chasing this lobster critter, the Tingler, and it drops into this vent. And Vincent Price, where does that vent go? And his buddy says, it goes to the theater. And all of a sudden the whole screen goes black, and you hear, ladies and gentlemen, please do not panic. The Tingler is loose in the theater. And so that's going on. And the only way you can stop the Tingler is to scream. So they're scream now, scream as loud as you can.
Oh, so it's interactive. That's
yeah.
cool.
And then the worst thing though is some of the seats had electric charges.
Oh wow.
And you'd get zapped. It's like the Tingler.
Oh my gosh.
There was I think it was on TV. It was a movie had John Goodman as I think he was the theater manager or something like that.
Matinee.
Yeah. Oh yeah. God, it was so funny.
I love John Goodman. What's the last great movie you saw?
Give me a second.
In the theater or on TV?
Didn't matter.
Okay.
Well, The Wild Robot was really good. We were talking about that before the show a little bit. I saw that with my daughter, and it was really good, really good.
They said it was the best reviewed film in like 20 years. That says a lot.
Yeah, DreamWorks has this thing where they'll put out a really, really, really good, like mind-blowing masterpiece film, and then the next film it's like, what is this? Like, this isn't even for like adults. This is just for like those like the brain dead kids who are just the iPad kids or whatever, So like it's nice that every once in a while we'll get something decent. But other than that, I don't remember the last like really, really good film I saw.
What did you think of Furiosa? I
liked it. Yeah. I love Fury Road.
Oh, it's God. I knew he couldn't beat that.
Yeah, yeah. Which, when I walked out of Furiosa, it was it's the same feeling I've been getting with a lot of films where it was like, that was good. But I don't know, like I feel like I need to watch it again. But, after you think about it for a while, like, yeah, I really enjoyed that movie.
I did too.
Yeah.
I was sorry to see that one tank because I was so excited about it.
It was ridiculous.
And like I said, there's no way he's ever going to beat Fury Road. That movie's that's the first movie I ever got up and my knees were shaking.
Yeah.
It's of its greatness. But still, it's close. It's like, you almost did it again. So I got points for that. And the cast, Chris Hemsworth, good Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. Just his change over the film. Like, I love that. The visual with the cape and everything too. Like, yeah, that was a good film.
And the sad thing is, we're not going to get Mad Max 3 now. It's not, the next one, whatever it is, Wasteland, right? Was that the one he's already
like
written?
That. Yeah, the one that they teased at the very end. They had the little bobblehead thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. All right, cool. I guess they have another one.
Not going to happen now, and that's unfortunate. Hopefully, we'll get something though at some point. You can't let Mad Max die now.
No, you can't. Okay, we know what your favorite all-time movie is.
What?
It's Jaws.
That's right.
And what is your favorite all-time movie? Doesn't matter how old it is.
It depends.
Favorite all-time movie.
It depends on the day, but most days it's Jurassic Park.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
It really is.
That was the movie that got me into this. So everything was.
Spielberg has managed in at least 2 movies to actually create the emotion of wonder, and that was Jurassic Park. You were just wide-eyed with wonder the whole way through.
Yeah.
And then with E.T., it was love. I mean, you just felt that love with that little critter laying there. And other people have done that too.
Yeah.
But for Spielberg to do it twice, just to create it out of the blue, I think he's the best filmmaker that's ever been. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, and especially with like John Williams music, because I can listen to John Williams and it takes me to the movie, the scenes, the emotions, and everything. And I don't know any other movie or any other director that can do that. Even in Spielberg's like movies that aren't so good, they still have like an emotional impact. Like when I listen to those themes or when I think about those scenes, it's just like, yeah, I'm emotionally there. Like I watched Saving Private Ryan again, like for the, I don't know, 12th time or something. And I was watching it in like 30-minute increments because it was just when I was done at work, I would just take my lunch break at like 8:30 at night and I'm just watching like on my phone. I'm like, all right, I got to go home. So I go. Over the course of a week, I finished the film, and at the end of the film, like I cried at the end when like it goes to Matt Damon and he's like old and everything. And it's just, I'm like, because I was telling people about it and they're like, how do you watch movies like that? I'm like, well, I don't want to watch movies like that, but I'm trying to watch something on my lunch break and I've seen the movie before, so I don't have to be super attached to it, but it still worked because it's Spielberg and I still like had that emotional connection. As soon as I hit play to the moment I stopped to drive home, it's still there 100%, that emotional connection, because I mean, Spielberg is the only person that can do that.
I agree completely. And I don't, his next movie is supposed to be another alien movie, I guess they're talking about, and I don't know what he'll do, but I don't care. Did you see Fabelmans?
I did. Yeah.
Was it an amazing movie?
I was so sad that I missed that in the theater because I bought it on DVD and I think it was after the Oscars or something like that. And I put it in and I was just like, oh my God, like just that it you know how like when you see certain things, it kind of takes you out of the movie and you're like, oh, well, that like broke the.
Yes.
That movie, the scene where he's playing his film for the entire school and the camera goes in and it does that oneer where it goes around the whole, like it took me out and I was like, Jesus Christ, like this guy still got it after all these years. Like I thought, there was a time where he kind of dipped a little bit, with Warhorse and BFG and all that stuff. And, but like, maybe he's coming back, but like he never lost it. He still got it. Cause there's still things in all of those films that are him. You know?
Even his West Side Story remake, it's like it was just a West Side Story remake, but there were little bright spots that were Spielberg, and it just stands out. I like I said, I think he's the greatest that's ever lived. I watch anything what was the one he did with all the characters in it? That was like a comeback film for him. The one with the futuristic film, and they got the Iron Giant and Godzilla.
Oh, Ready Player One.
Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Nobody else could have directed that movie.
No.
He was the only man that could do that, and he pulled it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's like he's the only one that can sign off all those Easter eggs and stuff. Like he's the person who had Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
That's
all
right.
of those deals because of Spielberg.
That's right. Everybody wants to be involved with Spielberg film.
Exactly.
And to this day.
I'd like to see him do a James Bond movie.
That's not going to happen. I just read an article about that with him recently, and it was interesting because right after Jaws, United Artists came to him and said, we want you on our slate. You can direct anything you want. You choose it. It's your picture. He goes, well, I'd like to do James Bond. He said, anything but that. And so it passed. Then years later, they approached him again, and they said that they'd already got somebody else signed or whatever, and they didn't go with him. And he said, now their chance is over. They're not if they offered it to him, he wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. But it would be magic because.
In that case.
But he's also, you know what? As much as I love the James Bond movies, I'd rather see Spielberg do something that he develops on his own, because that's where his heart's at.
Do a reimagining of Matt Helm.
No, he's bigger than that. Okay. And by the way, John, I'm sorry to tell you, no, but do you know who Matt Helm is?
Nope.
See, that's why there will never be a Matt Helm film.
Matt Helm was the American version, supposedly the American version of James Bond.
Oh, there's a lot of those.
There were. James Coburn did one. Matt, it was Dean Martin who played. Matt Helm. And they're fun movies.
They did 3 of them, I think.
Yeah, and there were a series of best-selling books too, but it's just too old now. People don't remember it. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
People don't know who Dean Martin was. You know who Dean Martin was, right? Just say yes.
I have a couple of faces, so I'll say at least one of them's got to be right.
All right. Well, we got to get out of here. So, Jeff, thanks again for coming in. We'll do this again very soon.
Yeah.
And please keep us informed on the progress of First Run.
Yep.
Because I'm very excited about it.
Me too.
And nobody asked me what my favorite all-time movie was.
Yeah, because we figured you'd ask yourself.
Well, there's 5.
If you get closer to the microphone.
There's 5.
Okay. We're supposed to be done.
Well, okay, but I'll be quick. It's only 5, and I'm not going to go into what they are.
Remember, he said I'll be quick because that ain't going to happen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's true. Number 5 would be Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the
Great
Bomb.
movie.
Yeah.
Josh's favorite movie.
Number 4 would be The List of Adrian Messenger.
Mhm.
Number 3 would be the original The Manchurian Candidate with Frank Sinatra.
Mhm.
Not to take anything away from the Denzel Washington version, which was really good.
Well,
Mhm.
great director. Yeah.
Number 2 is why did you have to say that? No, you interrupted me. Arsenic and Old Lace
Mm.
with Cary Grant. God, that was so good. But my number 1 all time, To Kill a Mockingbird with Gregory
Okay.
Peck.
I should have known that.
That's a great movie. Yeah, you probably have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are if you had to go all the way to 5?
I would be tough. It would be really tough. I couldn't even tell you. There's so many movies that I love that they like you. It changes day by day. And some days I'll think of a movie and I'll think, why haven't I watched that recently?
Yeah.
And I'll revisit it. So I can't even think of one other one on that list. But what about you? Can you think of top 5?
I would say today Jurassic Park, 7 Samurai by Akira Kurosawa, Jackie Chan's Police Story,
That's a good one.
The Mummy with Brendan Fraser,
That's a good one.
and Blair Witch Project. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was 5. Can I throw in A Fistful of Dollars?
Yes, you can.
And John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
That's
Yeah.
where it gets tough.
Yeah, exactly. Because you just keep going because you keep thinking of good movies. It's like, oh, what about Aliens? What about
My wife had gone to we're going to go long, I guess. My wife had gone to Wyoming to see her sister, and I had never seen the Dollars films,
Uh-huh.
any of them.
Oh, really?
So I
Okay.
sat down. If I had, I'd forgotten about them. So I sat down and watched the 3 of them. And the first 2 I enjoyed. I really thought were great.
Mm.
But Fistful of what's the one we just talked about?
Fistful
It
of
was
Dollars.
Fistful of Dollars.
And then for a few dollars more, and then Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah. Oh, it was Good, Bad, and the Ugly that I
Yeah.
watched. Stunning.
Mhm.
It's like, this is a masterpiece. It turned me into an instant Sergio Leone fan. It's
Mhm.
like, wow. Here's the confession though. I've never seen 7 Samurai.
Oh wow. Okay.
I need
It's-
to fix that, don't I?
It's a Magnificent Seven, but
Mhm.
because a lot of those films back in the day, the samurai and the Western films were like mirrors of each other. So Fistful of Dollars was Yojimbo by Akira Kurosawa, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But
There were even lawsuits back then about that stuff.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But Seven Samurai is it's like a 3.5-hour movie, and
For
that's
back then.
yeah, and that story is told so many times that after seeing the original version of it, it was just like, I can't watch this any other way. So anything shorter than that is not as good, because like Magnificent Seven, I was like, well, it could have been a little longer in this part. And then they even did a Mandalorian episode with that, and it
That's
was
right.
30 minutes. I'm like, I just didn't enjoy it because it's not the whole
The
scope
whole
of it.
scope of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw The Magnificent Seven.
Yes.
See McQueen Yul Brynner.
Yes.
Did you see The Magnificent Seven with?
The remake?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that one.
I liked it. I did.
Yeah, I thought it was enjoyable. Yeah.
I'm one of those people that I don't believe in changing genders, ethnicities,
Uh-huh.
or whatever of established characters.
Mhm.
But there are a few exceptions.
Yeah, and
Denzel Washington meets that exception.
I thought it
He's
was
good in
nice
anything he
that
does.
they had different like types of fighting styles and
Mhm.
stuff, So it was kind of like an homage to, even Seven Samurai, they had that
Yeah.
samurai guy in there too. So
I'm going to buy it. I'm just going to buy the Blu-ray because I know that it's one of those things I'm going to want without even having seen it. I know it's going to be something I
Yeah.
want to keep. So
I mean,
pick
there's
it up.
another movie I could throw in there, and that's the one that had all the blood and gore in it. The shoot 'em up cowboy thing. Ernest Borgnine.
The Wild Bunch,
Yes, thank you. God.
great movie.
Yeah. It just-
John Wick. It just goes on and on.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
the
could be
every
your
John Wick
Yeah.
movie, but the 5 that I said, those are my all-time greats, and I believe every one of those is black and white.
That's You know what? I never had a problem with black and white.
Me neither.
Except I do have a problem with black and white when they did Fury Road in black and white.
Uh-huh.
Did you see the black and white version?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. I remember George Miller saying at the time, why are they doing black and white? I worked so hard to get those
The
colors. Right.
Yeah, the color is so amazing in that.
Yeah. It's crazy. All right, we got to get out of here. So thanks again, Jeff.
Yeah,
we'll do this again soon.
Absolutely.
Johnny, you got anything else?
Who gets to take the donuts?
I shouldn't. I'm taking the donuts. Unless
say,
you guys would like one to go.
Oh, wait a minute. Your first day of shooting. No, you better make.
Yeah, let's not use those donuts.
Old
for that.
donuts. Yeah.
All right, folks, we're closing out as always with a tribute to our friends, The Grape. I got to go there twice last week because Doug was in town. So we hung out at The Grape. Great people, great cocktails, great jazz music.
I'm sure they are.
Hey, we told you what day we're going to be there and you didn't show up.
Well, it's not my fault.
Okay. Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production. My ears. Like, that's not a good. Oh, bye. Sorry.
They're moving too.